things set up here. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm hoping that you can. Might be a little loud in here as well. Alright, I think we are good. Touch screen. Haven't tried this. It does look like it's working. It looks like it's a little far behind, but it does appear to be working. Alright, well, I got the chat open over there, so let me know if you can hear me. And we'll keep doing our thing here. Alright, so I'm doing some Loesch sketches. Abby and I are working on, what would you call it? Not a master study, or not a master copy, I guess more of a master study. And we are trying to kind of create an artwork in the style of her, of Loesch, eventually. But right now, both of us are kind of in the early stages of just figuring out proportions, figuring out a lot of the early kind of stuff here. It's been a long time since we've done one of these as well, so I need to just figure out the proportions. It's early in the morning over here, so some pretty rough ideas. I just need to black this out real quick. These proportions are way off. But yeah, this is going to be pretty chill. I'm not going to talk a lot. I'm just going to hang out, chill. If you've got any questions, let me know. And I'm just going to keep doing my thing over here. Oh yeah, I should mention we're trying something new. This app called Prism Live, which I have not used before personally, but it actually seems to be working extremely well directly from the iPad, so I'm excited to play around with this. Alright, I think I've kind of lost the plot on this a little bit. So I'm trying to distill down what makes Loesch's art style. So there's a lot of different parts and pieces to it. I'm trying to find the different pieces of that puzzle. And so far, before I even started drawing and sketching some of her stuff, because I feel like this is necessary before I go in and try to make a full piece. I think it's important, and I'll just show you. So before I even started, sorry, I got my reference window over here on the left in the way, but before I even started, I wrote down what I thought would make up her style, and now as I'm going, I'm starting to write down more of what I'm discovering. So originally, I was like, it's flowy, but now I'm starting to figure out what that means. And I'll explain kind of what those mean at a later time when I'm a little more articulate. But yeah, it's really interesting how, we make those artist adventure videos. I'm sorry it's so loud in here, but we make those artist adventure videos and get to slow down for maybe about 10-ish minutes or so and really kind of look at someone's art style. But I feel like this is an even deeper dive into that. So if you've never done a master study, the idea isn't to copy necessarily their artwork. Gosh, look how freaking fat this finger is. But it's more so to kind of find those puzzle pieces and understand them on a deeper level, which is a lot harder, I'm not gonna lie. It's just a lot going on here. Look how it's getting so messy. But I do feel like even doing these like rough sketches, and you can see a bunch of them here that I've already done based on her artwork. Those are from yesterday or last night. And this one is from this morning. This one's pretty rough. But yeah, now I'm starting to look at these hands. I feel like hands are a little more abstract than a face. You can kind of get away from I don't know what I'm trying to say. Get away from like all this stuff that feels automatic in your process. I don't draw hands a lot, so I feel like it's a little easier for me, or animals, for instance. She draws a lot of animals, and it's a lot easier for me to see her habits and her like ideas distilled down a little more. Because with a face, like I have all these habits myself that I kind of get locked into, and I feel like I'm starting to learn a lot more here about what she's doing. You know what? This finger is pretty thick, and her drawing, I think mine's just a little too much. I've also been trying to kind of go with the flow in the sense of like if I make a big mistake or there's something weird going on, just kind of let it go. Not too worried about it. Also, I'm using some new brushes from Brush Club that are coming out next month. I'm still working on them, but the next brush pack is called the Candy Shop, which I'm really excited about. I love this brush so much. This is like my new favorite sketching brush. It's called Lollipop, and it is amazing. It like you can see how thin I'm getting there with it. Like you just have so much control with this brush, and it's got some cool taper and some different stuff going on there. So it's really cool. I'm a big fan. But yeah, welcome if you're just joining. Jade chilling, doing some drawing today. Some nice sketches. We've not done a lot of live streams here. So this is, I think it's been probably the better part of 2 years since we've done anything live. And those were more of some, quite a bit different from what I'm doing here. But yeah, feel free to just hang out, chill. That's what I'm doing today. And if you got a question, let me know. And if you just want to hang out, no worries. Oh, and let me know if you can hear me. Alright, time to focus up. That's the whole point of this session. It is nice to be able to talk through some of these ideas, though, I will say. It's so messy here. This guy over here. Alright, let's move on to another one. Let's see. Let's maybe try an easier one. I say easier, but honestly, all of these are quite difficult. Alright, so I messed up on that last one. So one thing that I've noticed about Roche is that she doesn't use any construction lines. So I've seen her, we have all of her art books, and in those, what she does, it's a little short, but what she does is she creates her construction lines on a separate layer, and and then kind of does not line work, but like a refined sketch on top of that. I just want to see if I can get this basic idea down first. So yeah, because of that, you end up not seeing her kind of construction work. We're a little short. So yeah, this is for an upcoming video in the future. We've been wanting to do some artist adventures, you know, where we slow down and look at other artists. We've been wanting to do one of those where we actually take the time to separately go even deeper ourselves and really start to like get in and kind of break down the person's art style, start to figure things out a little more. And then present that in a, maybe let's call it a more refined way. So right now I really like what we do, and getting to slow down and look at things is nice, but I feel like we can learn even more this way. Another thing about her is that she's just so confident in her lines. Every single one is just, that's where that belongs. And I'm not there myself. Another thing I've noticed, or that I'm kind of noticing right now that I'm able to articulate a little more, is how she uses her line weight. I feel like it's very sparingly. And it's in places that I wouldn't necessarily, or I would put it, but she does not. And I feel like she kind of uses it in just like a few key areas of overlap here. And there's even some like weird, like, you know, right through here, kind of some thicker lines to pull visual interest to that transition of side to the top, or that would be like the dorsal side of the hand. There's some pretty cool like decision making going on here, even on these sides. So I think that's probably something else I need to kind of recognize here. This one kind of turned out really bad. I said easier, right? But the simplification of it did not turn out well. Alright. That's the point of these, though. The point of these is to learn. So. Right. Something else I want to think about then. Line weight. Her line weight is, let's see, sparing, intentional, or limited, maybe. That's how I'm going to describe it right now. Limited line weight. Or like really, really specific might be a better way. Alright, let's try another hand. Let's try this one. Just move right down next to it. So I feel like personally I do a little better with less construction. I feel like if I try to go too hard on these angles initially, I feel like I just need like a box, right? A simple box to encapsulate this before I try moving forward. Otherwise it just kind of gets away from me. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but like when I'm doing a head, you know, I still do like a circle before I start, you know, drawing the rest of the jaw line and, you know, the ear and everything else. I don't know what, like, I feel like I don't lose something I need to grow out of over time. Love this shape. Also, I'm trying not to use like warp and all these digital tools too often because I'm kind of letting the happy accidents just happen. Trying. Okay, this is quite a bit more complicated than I originally went in here thinking. It's hard, guys. Always has been. But I love it. I feel like it's something that, you know, you could spend more than a lifetime doing and still be learning stuff every day. Still be improving and growing. Art in general do be like that. Alright. Good gesture. I think I'm starting to find it. Just need to get some more confident lines in here. But yeah, some beautiful stuff over here on the left. Something's on fire. Yeah, but I feel like it's so easy for us to look at this stuff and like immediately go by, like continue go on our day. But like, there's so much to appreciate here. So much good stuff. Also, I've learned from doing this that I'm terrible at drawing fingernails. Like, absolutely awful. Also, I am just doing sketching. I'm not shading or painting these at all. At least not yet. I might do that. At least I think I should do that once or twice before I get in and start to work on the original piece, kind of based on this style. But yeah, right now, just trying to think in terms of lines, because just in that alone, there's a lot here for me. Yeah, this is just a little too thick right through here. But like I said, I'm kind of trying to I don't want to sit here, like the point of this is to learn, not to try to get everything perfect. And I don't think that that's a good way to progress. Like if you are doing a master study of someone else, don't sit here and like fiddle with everything and try to get it pixel for pixel. Because your goal is not the end result to be perfect. Your goal is to learn and pull that knowledge from the source. I do feel like we're getting somewhere though. Getting a little messy with my line weight though. My Bluetooth is on. Hopefully, okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Doing too much more with that. Probably going to leave that roughly where it is. Just want to look at it one more time from the other side. See if there's anything else I'm seeing that I want to add. Alright, cool. Looks good to me. As good as it's going to get for now. Let's do another one. Oh man, these all look so hard. Okay, this one's got a lot of overlap and it's a pretty simple shape. Let's try this one. Also, I really recommend taking breaks in between these to just breathe for a minute. Otherwise, you just don't have any time to like look at what you actually just made, and instead you're too focused on just kind of going forward mindlessly. And the objective of these is to get out of that like automatic state, kind of the habitual state, subconscious state, whatever you want to call it. So that's what art style is. It's just a bunch of habits, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to learn about someone else's style, someone else's choices. And you can't do that if you are just solely focused on, or unfocused, I should say, not focused. Wow, I cannot draw that way at all. So you want to kind of break your own habits here, and try to get out of that mind state. It's not an easy thing to do. And the longer you draw, the easier it is to fall into it. Might be a little too high up. It's okay. Something I have found like very recently that helps me a lot when I am doing kind of like what I'm going to call secondary construction lines, that I've been trying to kind of parse or think through a little bit here while I'm sketching, is drawing without connecting all my lines. And I can come back and like reconnect and erase some of those, but it ends up creating a quality to my lines that I actually like quite a lot. I'm trying to think about a lot, but there's definitely one thing that I want to try to play around with more lately. That's what's so fun and difficult about this, is that, you know, art style is a collection of a billion different things. Yeah, it's just hard to focus on any one thing at a time. So there's a lot of heavy line weight on this because of the overlap. But there's really interesting spots like where it gets narrow, where it gets thick. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out, like why, what was the decision-making process like there? What's the purpose? What's going on? Also, I've noticed like there's a really cool thing that she does with her curves, where it's not just a curve, it's a curve with a kink in it. Or like the common one I always see with her is like instead of a downward swoop, it's like a downward swoop with a really specific kind of like hit or break is what it's called. And this is a fundamental in kind of creating stylistic, appealing shapes. It's something that I teach in the Appeal Academy, my sculpting school. And the basic idea is that if you have like two symmetrical shapes, this is really boring. So you want to kind of like offset some of those in some way, like offset the kinks, the hits and breaks, like the peaks of those curves, or you want to contrast like, you know, an S and a C or something like that, so you get something like really unique. Or, you know, a straight with a curve is probably one of the most fundamental or basic versions of that. It's one that a lot of people are commonly aware of. Like I always see it called straights and curves, but really what you're talking about is simple and complex. And there's a lot of that going on in Moshe's stuff. And I know that she used to be an animation student, so a lot of that probably, like this idea of curves and like the flow that she creates in her lines and her shapes, a lot of that I'm sure comes from her animation work. A lot of her work is so incredibly gestural. That, you know, just like naturally has all this stuff going on. It's really cool. So yeah, this is kind of a point where I can define this line weight here a little more. I need to adjust this finger. Again, not perfect in terms of things like lining up, but not too worried about it. Yeah, okay. I feel like I'm starting to see a couple of these things. Getting a little crazy. Gotta rein it back in. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've done something like this. I used to do these, and we're gonna move on to another hand here. I used to do these way back in the day with oh man, this hand sucks. We're gonna try it. I used to do these way back in the day with ZBrush. But that has been a while. Alright, I don't even know exactly where to start with something like this. artist has insane foreshortening, and I know that she, Loish, struggles with foreshortening, which is going to say a lot about me because I am nowhere near her level. I think this is the hand from the meme, the art meme. Am I wrong? I'm pretty sure this is the draw this, hey artist, draw this hand. Good luck. Alright, these need to be like way thicker. Let's see here. Like that. Like that. So the hand and the knuckles and the joints of the hand all follow a very similar arc. So, and you can kind of like radiate that arc out from the knuckles to the tips of your fingers. It's going to be a helpful tool. I don't know how much it's going to help me here, but it can be a helpful tool to start getting that figured out. These aren't going to be in the right position as well, so I'm kind of trying to keep my lines just like really light here, but by doing that I kind of lose a lot of control. Need to loosen up here. Stay loose. Just try to get some more construction stuff in. Notice something? Yeah. Alright. Let's see, how do we fix that? Chop it up, you know? Fix it. Bad habits coming back. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Even this is just so clean. Putting in the time. foreshorten the plot here a little. See if we can get it back. I feel like I've lost the main gesture. You know that. I lost the plot a little. Next game. Let's see. We have done almost all of these. Not done this one. Hello, Lee. Welcome. And thank you. These are some Loesch sketches over here, and Abby and I are doing some studies of Loesch, some master studies, and I am trying to distill some different parts. First stuff. And we're slowly getting somewhere. Trying to figure it out, one step at a time. Sorry for the noise. Yeah, I feel like it's so hard for me to, I need to add this to my list before I forget. She is so good at keeping a checklist of things to structure plus gesture. She is so good at that. And that is something that I am not very good at. So she does a really fantastic job of marrying structure and gesture. So, these are really structurally sound, and yes, I agree, hands are so insanely difficult. They're just they're the epitome of structure and flow combined, right? So, and the more I'm doing these, I don't know how many I've done now. 2, 4, 7. So this is my 7th one of just the hands. I've done some of her faces, and those have less flow. Not less flow, less gesture. These have so much gesture. So much gesture. Kind of hard to wrap my brain around. But thanks, appreciate the kind words. It's like this combination of gesture plus line weight. Maybe that's kind of where I'm failing. Capture that 3D nature. Obviously there's shading, right? But I'm just doing just some rough hatching. I don't want to sit here and paint this. Not yet. to ham on the line right there. Definitely one of those things where you have to do it a lot to kind of, one, automate those processes, and two, just kind of figure out exactly what they are. I feel like if you can verbalize them, it's a lot easier. Alright, let's see. I think we only have one hand left. No, we have a couple left. Alright, let's go ahead and pause on hands then. Do this face. Now I've done a couple face sketches from her stuff, but I really want to, after doing those hands, I feel like I figured out some new things that I would like to try applying here. One thing I appreciate about her portrait stuff is that it's actually pretty simple. At least a lot of... She does some like really detailed illustration work, but this is not that. Yes, the local cafe is having some construction done. Sorry about that. Yeah, they're hanging something up on the wall, I think. Not quite arc welding, no. Might as well be. I feel like if you're gonna study someone's style like this as well, I think you should try to choose the more simple pieces that they've created, like this one over here, because it's easier to find those parts and pieces that make up what you're looking for. Specifically, after drawing a bunch of hands from this artist, I'm now really trying to look for some arc welding. Really trying to look for areas of line weight. Let's see. I don't know if I can turn that up. I don't know if that does anything. Maybe this will be the one that I paint as well, because I do need to paint one of these to start thinking about her color choices. I might have been also covering the microphone, my bad. Yeah. I don't know what was causing that. All right. So I feel like I understand less now about her choices of line weight going back to her faces. I feel like it was a lot more clear in the hands, talking about how there was like more flow there, but there's definitely some interesting contour lines, hints that form. Normally, like these kinds of lines around the nose or these kinds of things age a face typically, but I think it's because she kind of colors her lines to match the skin tone or the paint that is with those lines, and I think that helps a lot. I'm not sure exactly. That's what it feels like to me. And maybe these lines feel a lot better once we get in and start painting. Yeah, I don't know. Only the highest quality audio for you, Scott Blade. Also, this is my first time trying to stream directly on this thing. Okay. I am very curious to kind of paint one of these and kind of get a feel for it. Looks like her skin tone is like there's a lot of colors happening here, but it's also like very saturated. Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna close this for a sec. I'm very curious. Just want to see what we got going on here. Yeah, it's actually darker than what I am using over there right now. Let's see. Looks like her value range is like right up around here for the skin. This upper 1/3, which is typically where I tend to stay, but I tend to stay more desaturated normally, and hers are more saturated, it looks like. Still above the halfway mark, and still pretty saturated over here. It's cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alright, so let's see what we can learn about this paint. Kind of a desaturated orange. And I think just because everything else is so saturated here that it makes that stand out even more. And the thing with paint when you're putting this stuff down initially, it feels much darker than over here, but that's just because of the surrounding colors. Also my lines, which I will color later. Alright, I kind of know roughly where she's staying, so I don't want to sample colors too much here. I just want to start laying down the groundwork for this. So I know she plays with her colors a lot when she's painting. She goes back and forth on a lot of different stuff. I want to see what she's doing down here. So I didn't look at the shirt or the hair, but the shirt and hair look similar. So lower third, still orange. And I'm going to guess she's not really using any cool colors anywhere. Like this is like the only place, just that splash right on that outside of the hair. But like where it's feeling cool over here, this is just desaturated orange. Slightly desaturated, yeah. So like that's kind of what's happening there. High saturated darks have attitude. Yeah, I guess so. It's interesting. Yeah, I typically do the same thing, but I think I go way more overkill than she does. She's keeping one. I feel like I'm sure other people struggle with this, but I feel like I really struggle with kind of going overboard with saturation. I kill it. I way overdo it. Anyway, it's like she doesn't change her color at all. It's all orange, all monochromatic. And the eyes look green, but I'm guessing they're not. I'm guessing they're orange. They are. Yeah, it's just this, again, it's this trick of color playing with, and like the whites of the eyes here, it's just desaturated orange again. I want to find like the lightest, like even this, that's like maybe heading a little towards purple. Still red. It's because of those surrounding colors. It's so crazy. So crazy how color works. So confusing. So tricky. But yeah, I feel like I need to kind of restrain myself here. I go way too overboard normally. Alright, let's color the lines now, because I feel like we've got a little bit of paint on here. And I've met the maximum layer count. That's alright. I don't really need layers after this. So I feel like she's kind of like blending a little bit of the surrounding paint into some of her lines. And I know she uses multiply for her lines. I don't know if she always does that or what her use case is, but alright. Gotta get away from my own habits here. Alright, let's try and multiply. Or actually, let's stick with that. And let's set our lines to multiply. I know that's what she does. Alright, and then what I want to do is I want to put a little bit of that color on my lines. And let's take that down. think that's too saturated and too bright. So that's multiply versus normal. I don't know. No, she uses Photoshop mostly. Okay, let's try it. Let's stick with that for now. And go ahead and just merge them. Merge those lines together. Paint on top. A little scary sometimes, but gotta move forward. Okay, so I gotta remember where this is. Yeah, it's like these saturated, warm colors. So crazy, honestly. So what would we even call that? What did you say? Saturated darks. Something like that, yeah. I feel like I do that already though, and I feel like that's not what this is. This is like saturated midtones. It's like mid to dark tones. Does that make sense? Is that anything? It's all in here, all in the same range. But I feel like this will become more clear the more I do. Like this is the first of her works that I've painted as a study. Not as a copy, as a study. So I'm not trying to copy it exactly. Like I don't care if I'm off on certain things. I'm just trying to learn. And I think these eye highlights, just like this. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, let me see this. What do we got over here? Okay, that is the only blue. That is the only actual cool color. And then I believe the hair is the same as the shirt. So I'm not even gonna sample that. I'm just gonna start laying that in. And if it looks wrong, we'll go back over it. Yeah, I know she does use Procreate from time to time. Alright, so this is a little too light. That's okay. Build it up in layers. It feels good though. It feels like I'm kind of capturing it here. And I want to try to guess on some of these colors as well. I think I got this lip color pretty close. I think the proportions of this are pretty far off, but I'm going to try to ignore that. See, like for me, I really want to like hyper saturate this. It's what my habits are telling me to do. Yeah, starting to lose it already. Yeah, I don't know what she uses for her hair. I have some other brushes that I've made recently that I like a lot. That have a lot more kind of gesture to them. They're very painterly brushes still as well. This is one of my favorite new brushes. Okay, so we need to get the value range a lot closer here. What I'm seeing. I'm back. Alright, so let's see. How dark are we actually getting in the hair? Oh, what's going on? I'm down. So, really saturated, pretty dark. And so that's kind of what's happening down here. Yeah, it's crazy how much your brush actually affects your art style. Like whether you have texture, whether you don't. It's crazy how many just literally everything affects your art style. You know, every little thing. So let's see if we can capture. So I feel like we can get there with this brush if I can control it. But yeah, she also has a lot of grain in her brush, and this one does not. Or that's just the noise. Well, we get some lighter areas in there. We might be able to get a little closer, but let me continue with this for a minute. So, things I've noticed so far, just in terms of paint, the lines of her artwork tend to stay relatively close to the paint that's underneath of them if she does keep lines. They're pretty light, like they blend in very gently. Like, see how dark mine are right now? That's not the vibe. It's more like this, I feel like. Yeah, that's like something like that. Feels very close. But each line is like blended with the paint underneath in a way. So I feel like I've kind of messed up, and I would have to. Yeah, that feels a lot closer. A little darker for that one, more saturated. But I feel like I'd have to go back and get my lines back, and that's okay. Live and learn. And then the most saturated area appears to be here in the eye. Oh, that's trippy. Hold on. What is going on? It's like upside down. It's so weird. Alright, so still not like fully saturated, but I feel like I've never really studied someone's colors quite like I'm doing right now. So this is cool. I like it. And notice how like this orange next to this darker desaturated orange makes it look even more green. That's so interesting. So cool. Yeah, I know the thing up here, and then the face paint as well. Yeah, it is cool. Let's see, that's pretty bright and saturated, right? Like, I want to see that. Yeah, that's very bright, very saturated. Probably shouldn't put that in yet because I need to actually paint on the face a little more, but oh well. What I find the most interesting about this piece is actually like the splashes of color like behind the hair and everything. Like all this up here. Super cool. Really interesting choices. Those are. So I want to know, and I just have to kind of guess here. I want to see if this feels a little better, a little closer. See, that's even too much. Like the variation between her lights and shadow areas, like it's there's not a lot of contrast in her skin. It is very subtle. And what I'm doing right now is too much. I don't know why I keep doing it. Can't stop. Somebody stop me. Let me just block out where it goes. It's like probably closer. Gosh, that's so crazy. That is a great point. It's been a while since I've done a 3D version of one of her artworks, so I don't know. But yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot from doing just the sketches and the hands earlier. So there's definitely a lot to learn. Resample the brush shrink? Not sure what you mean. Normally what I do is I'll do like a new layer and then fade it out. I don't know if that's what you meant. It's so easy for me to go overboard. I'm trying to do all this on one layer. Okay, let's try getting some of this stuff behind her. Okay, so obviously the background is like a cooler color, right? But I think it's just desaturated. It's just a gray. Yeah, it's even in the red spectrum. It's kind of what I thought. Yeah, I need to work on the face a little more, but I'll do that here in a minute. Yeah, it's this. This is the one I need. Ah, yeah. I get what you're saying now. Yeah, you're probably right. Alright, this is a pretty rough job, but again, the point is to learn, so I'm not too concerned. I'm really interested to see what this color is. What are you? Desaturated yellow. So hard to tell. Yeah, no worries. Not in a hurry here, that's for sure. Yeah, so let's see. Two main points were my lines are way too dark here. I think we need to blend them with the skin tone a lot more. And then just those really saturated darks, I think, are a huge point of this. And I'm gonna go over that one more time here. See if I can rectify some of this stuff. Well, hopefully you can still hear me. My microphone just died. Hopefully you can hear me through my iPad still. Okay. So what I'm saying, I think you were right about the opacity being a thing. So I'm gonna try to, especially for the lines, I'm gonna try to be really just gentle through these areas. I should use a different brush for this. Alright, let's grab something nice. Something larger. Never mind. Go back to the basics. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're onto something. I don't know if they use any blending either. Like, they're called the mixer in Photoshop, is that correct? It definitely feels better. It's getting there, right? Yeah, yeah, I agree. I feel like whenever, and this might just be me, but I feel like whenever I use the smudge, it gets away from me really fast, and kind of just end up smudging everything, and I lose control. Whereas if I just kind of blended it from the start, myself, it would have been fine. There's probably a way to just go about it better, or just have more of a sense for what you need, more control. I have not found it yet though. Yeah, you right. I am, I think a little small on my canvas size here. That's okay. I don't want to sit here and try to define and refine these shapes more and more. Is that, did I just do what you were talking about earlier? Where like you start like this, sample color, paint a little, and then sample that so you get some of that color underneath. I feel like that's kind of what you were talking about. That's a really good way to work, though. If that's what you mean. I like that. Also, gosh, look how messy this is. She, something I'm noticing more is how often she's doing like soft and hard edges. I don't even want to think about edges right now. I feel like that's more advanced than I'm willing to look into for this first piece. But yeah, one sec. I'm just gonna merge all that. I think that's fine. Go back here for a minute. This is my list. I'll show you guys. So I don't know who was here when I had this pulled up earlier, but so over here is my list of things that I made before I started studying their artwork, like in depth. And over here is the list that I'm making as I'm going through and discovering like actual things and like what that means. So these are just bullet points right now, so it doesn't like what the hell does that mean, right? But it makes sense in my brain. I know what it means. All right. Lines are subtle. Color variations. Sorry, my handwriting's not amazing. Although it is a lot better since I started drawing. And then saturated darks, I think, is what we landed on. Or saturated, let's call it mid darks. Does that make sense? Is that something? Saturated mid darks. And then I think that's it, right? For now. I feel like that's a good place to start. Yeah, that's something I don't do enough of. I think you're right. That's something I should try really focusing on with this master study. Again, not a master copy, master study. Calm down. But yeah, I like that. I'm not using this brush. Has like a little bit of opacity, but not a ton. But yeah, you are right. 100%. This is not a good brush for this. Honestly, feeling kind of lazy. Ta-da. All right. Anything big that I feel like we're just like overlooking entirely? It's like this right here in the hair. Some kind of cool stuff going on here in the blending there that I wouldn't normally. It's like noisy. It's grainy. It's hard to describe. And that is not it. It's like a. It's like some warmth coming through in some of these areas. Yeah, I think that's probably pretty good for our first like actual color study. Um, Proportions and everything aside, we're not too worried about that stuff. Like, what could we? We wanted to do a quick like pull down here, make the eyes bigger. I went too bright on the highlights for the eyes. The eyelashes are small. There's a lot of. I'm not even going to do it. We'll just leave it. That's the point. To learn. We'll leave it at that. All right, cool. Let's get those. File is actually getting a little too big. Let's see what we got real quick. So, first kind of sketch study. I feel like a little too much of my own style in here. Second one, starting to lean away from it. Getting there. Third, this was this morning. This was super rough. I was just like waking up. And then a bunch of hands. These, what's going on? There's a group in this group. I don't know why. These definitely got better as I went along. So, let's see, number 1, number 2. Ooh, that's rough. Number 3, rough. Number 4, better. Definitely better. Definitely a lot to learn. Yeah, I'm excited to keep doing this. It's cool. Been a lot of really cool stuff to learn here. And then we ended off with this one. Yeah, I see a lot. See a lot that can be done there. Alright. I also wanted to do something that wasn't human. I feel like, you guys might disagree, but I feel like when you're looking at someone else's art style, I feel like it's really hard to get caught up in like the human features, and especially if you're someone like me that exclusively pretty much paints portraits and people. I feel like it's harder to find the pieces that make up their art style, and I feel like it's a little easier to break that down with something like this. Like, look how strong these shapes are. This one in particular is just so cool. I love that frog. I mean, all these are awesome. Thank you. I like the last one too. Alright, but this was a cool test to just try doing this once on the iPad, since normally I do it from the desktop, but thanks for coming and hanging out for a while. I'm gonna turn this off and head out of here. I'll come back later and do some more. It's good to take breaks though. I'll do the frogs next time. Alright. Thanks for hanging out, guys.